Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I am going to be checking out the comment section. We're going to get through and we're going to check out 3 different comments from 3 different videos, see what you guys are interested in and asking questions about. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel1258, but you can just call me 12. Drop comments on any video and I'll do my best to review them. And when I do, if there's something really substantive there, I'll get into it. And if I do, I'd love to say thank you, so make sure your IGN's included. Let's do it. I haven't looked at the comment section at all. I assume there'll be something about Rebellion because it's so fresh, but we'll see. So my video from this morning was called Measuring Failure in Splinterlands, or Measuring Success and Failure on the thumb. And in that I really attempt to explore how would we measure failure for Splinterlands? Like, what would be the metrics, or for that matter, success? Because actually having numbers is important so that we can then come back later and say, this is really off the rails, or, you know, we've impressed ourselves, we surprised ourselves, and maybe there's more room for confidence in 6 months or a year based on certain, you know, pieces of data we can start collecting now. And I think this is an important next step for everybody who's still here. So that's what that video is about. And I see Cedric has dropped a comment. Let's see what he says. Success will be measurable in the bull run, and if the flywheel can spark. That's such an important, absolutely, he's not wrong, but there can be others too. So let's carry on. If it doesn't within the upcoming bull run, we can say whatever we want, but even the game, but even if the game is fun, all the investors will leave, and the game is nothing without investors. I consider myself a player and an investor, but I don't see how I can succeed. It can succeed only on the player side. It's all integrated. I think that's what he means. I think what he's saying is that the success of the game is dependent on the market and the economics. So if the market, if there is no bull market for Splinterlands in the next bull market, that's a game killer. If the tokenomics of the Splinterlands are broken and somehow fail, like the flywheel doesn't, you know, do what it's supposed to do, that's a game killer. And I think I don't think he's right. I would say with 100% certainty, Cedric is right. These are absolutely black swan, game ending possible realities. But for anybody who hears that and starts to panic, I don't think for a second during the next bull run that Splinterlands will just not participate. But also, you know, I don't think we have reason. I think we can understand this flywheel issue is an issue of tokenomics. And I don't want to go down a 20-minute video talking about flywheel because I've done that a few times. I just want to say, and I think Cedric gets this, but for anybody who wonders, like, it kind of feels like this question or this comment might leave you wondering, well, is the flywheel not going to work? And I don't even think Cedric is saying that. I think he's like, if it didn't work by some way I can't yet anticipate, that would be a game killer. And I agree. But then I go a step further and I would say, however, I don't envision any possible way the flywheel fails to work. Apart from, let's go further. There are things that would lead to that. It's not like, and so let's talk about those, because again, the whole video is like, I want us all to think critically about the dangers in front of us and the opportunities, because a thoughtful analysis of both is going to put you in the most logical place for you. And you're going to have you're going to have answers to certain questions, and I'm going to have different answers to certain questions. And that's going to lead to each of our respective paths. That's okay. But think these things through. So let's go just for a couple minutes. Let's just back it up and be like, okay, like, if the flywheel failed, how would it fail? Well, it would fail insofar as land is not what we think it's going to be, or something about land is broken, or it comes way later than we think. Right now, I feel like we're going to get land in a couple of weeks or a month. But if it doesn't, I heard Aftersound say this recently, and I think this is true, man. If land doesn't get out this year, like before December, like, I mean, in the next 4 weeks, that is a massive fail. Now, it doesn't mean done, but hear me, every little fail is like, goes down a path of failure. And it doesn't, again, I'm not saying if it's not out November 30th, the game is dead. I'm just saying, if it's not out November 30th, No, I want to be more clear. If it's not out this year, so December's fine, that's a massive fail. And that will affect the ability for the flywheel to get going and where Cedric is pointing to. Why? Because a great deal of the flywheel is going to be dependent on the DEC sync that's created by land. And if land launches well, which I think it will if it goes soon, but the more it gets delayed, the less well it will launch because fewer participants will partake, fewer DEC will get staked. I really believe that. And so I'm not saying November we're going to see 40% of the land launch, and then if we wait till December 30%, like nothing. I can't think it that way. I can't kind of formulate it in such a concrete way. But I think if we have to wait till January or February for land because of some critical issue we don't even know about, I think we lose more players. I think we see a smaller commitment to land. I think we see less impact to flywheel. And then if 1.5 is delayed till January or even late December, what does that say about 2.0, which is where the 50 liquidity pools come in that are going to create even more demand for DC and really trigger flywheel? So I want to wrap this comment now and move on to the next, but I just want to say, I do not think these failures will happen. I do think land will launch well, but if it doesn't, that's like a big yellow flag in a road, heading down a road that could have some red flags or some game, like some serious reconsideration from even an old vet like me. So this is for real. Pay attention. But one final note of optimism. I do think land will launch well. I do think that's going to be a green flag on the way toward positive market moves. And I absolutely think Splinterlands will participate in the next bull market. Let's find out together, but I'm certainly expecting it. Okay, thanks for the comment, Cedric. Let's carry on. Saucy, appreciate you, man. I'm going to try and find a bigger comment, but I appreciate that, Saucy. JPH, dude, we got to chat. Good to see you. I love it. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Nice big comment, but we've already tackled that video. We just hit it again. Okay, you know what? We are going to touch this because there's a different angle here. And then I'm moving on. I don't think it is necessarily a failure versus success argument. The overall argument has a lot to do with perspective regarding the time you entered Splinterlands ecosystem. Someone like you, Dwayne, who has seen your investment multiply over and over compared to anyone who joined in the last 2.5 years, the economics are vastly different. This is true, but I'm not sure I already don't agree with where you're going, but you're right. Like, of course, somebody who seen multipliers is in a different position now. My sentiment would be that there's going to be more multipliers. Let's see how you finish your thought. Someone like you, even with the depressed prices, are still up 5, 10, 20 from your initial investment. Most other people are down, but from 50% to 90%. I think a lot of people's negativity is surrounding a failure/confusion on the messaging from the company. We've been told to wait for land the entire year, still not here. Yeah, that's a big problem. We were told that there would be a 3-month period where packs are not available in the store. That's not happening. Hang on a second. I got to stop there. Matt recently said more like a 12-month window with packs and then 3 months off. I think that's what he said. You know what? You're right. There's a lack of clarity there. I'll give you that. But Agra seemed to have one thing, and Matt, I think, is saying 12 months. We were told soul keep and nothing keep. Yeah, that's, you're making strong points. Let's carry on. GLS is very underwhelming project. Yes, I agree totally. What's going on with the nodes that people bought 2 years ago? I know, dude. Yeah, you're raising. See, this is good though. Like, hang on a second. I want to stop and like go a different angle with what you're saying. Cause you said in your first sentence, you're not having a conversation so much of failure versus success. But then you start listing all these, in my opinion, yellow flags for how one might actually get to a place where they don't believe in Splinterlands. Now, that's not my conclusion. I'm actually bullish that we're going to see more of these things come forward than you would think in the near future. But really, land and rebellion are the two that for now, rebellion had to come first because of runway. We needed money. And then land is, I think, an absolute and immediate next. And if land works well, it will generate revenue in the sense of time crystals, etc. Now those get burnt, but I'm saying that helps the economy by lowering supply on DEC and moving us toward flywheel. But I don't want to steal your thunder. Let's keep going. It's not a success or failure argument as black and white as you say. Okay. It is a consistent and repetitive miscommunication from the company. Okay, I can even agree to that. You couple that with people being down 50 to 90% on their investment, and that is why people are saying the game is dead. Think about someone who is down 90% right now. The value of the game and assets need to be 10x for them to get to their initial capital. But if things 10x, your life is totally changed. I don't care how confident I am in an asset, crypto or otherwise. I'm looking at 70% to 80% losses, shaking my confidence. Yes. Okay. You know what, Eric? Great comment. I'm glad I went on this video here because this is a totally different angle. And what I'm hearing is really just you are articulating the fact that it is reasonable to have some shaken confidence in Splinterlands right now. And so then some of the tension that is within the community around game is dead type verbiage becomes justified from this place. And I totally agree. I agree because I actually see that as a logical contribution. But then what I would say, and I wonder if we were actually talking right now and it wasn't just like me reading your text, if you might agree with me on this. What you're saying is they've taken a beating. They're down in some cases 90% on their portfolio, and now they're upset. And I said in the video, you don't want to let emotions drive your decisions. You want data. You want information. You want to look at, the language I'm using in this video is like yellow flags, like warning signs. And then you listed a number of warning signs. So what I'm saying in you actually is that you've already been doing this process for yourself. You're thinking, okay, like GLS is underwhelming. What's the delay with Soulkeep? Like land was supposed to already be, like you've listed them over and over. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm saying, do what Eric's doing so that you can come to a conclusion though. Because now Eric, where I disagree with you, Eric, is you don't then take that and say, you don't give me a breaking point. And I said in the video, at the end of the video, maybe not everybody saw it, so I'll tell you now. I said at the end of that video, we need to see 1.5 million Rebellion packs sell in the year that they're available. And we need to see 30 to 40% of land get utilized once land 1.5 starts. And we need to see land 2.0 within the next 6 to 12 months. So that we can see the 50 liquidity pools, which will bring about, in my mind, flywheel. If those, I'm giving myself, I'm not giving advice. I'm giving myself lines in the sand that if they don't happen, it's not like, okay, if we don't sell 1.5 million Rebellion packs, I'm going to sell all my assets. But I am now in a place because of the laundry list of complaints you raised, because I agree with almost nearly everything you said. I have those same critiques, and now I'm saying I'm actually attending to sort of, we need some W's. We need some W's with this game. We need to see some progress. We need to see, and I think Rebellion is a bit of that. So let's take a little bit of joy here. And remember, today, as I'm recording this, Rebellion sale has begun, the pre-sale. We're only 8 hours in, and we've already sold 250,000 packs. It's actually 247,000 packs. That's awesome. That's a win right there. Matt said he wanted to sell 250,000 packs. Now, this is just one small part of the win. We still need to see the bigger across the next 6 months or a year when Rebellion is done. We need to see 1.5 to 3 million packs sold. But do you see why it's so important to have a number to it? Because when you don't have a number to it and you just say, I've lost a lot of value in my assets and I'm complaining about different parts of the game, You don't have a deal breaker. Like, you need to establish those for your own sake. If land doesn't come out this year, that is a big yellow flag for me. And I'm like, that's going to shake my confidence. If we don't sell 1.5 million Rebellion packs, that's going to shake my confidence. And at some point, my confidence breaks. And I hear you being critical, not very reasonably, Cedric, like, or Eric, very reasonably, like, so much respect for how you spoke this. It's super clear. Thank you. I'm just saying, you're listing a laundry list of things that you're concerned over that have shaken your confidence, but where will your confidence break? And I urge you to, even now, start asking yourself, what would be the deal breaker? That's what the video is about. And I appreciate you dropping this thoughtful comment, though. Have an amazing day. Okay, one more from a different video. Let's read this one here. All them sharks. This is on a video called Down But Not Out. This was with Gathering the Magic, and shout out to Gathering. Thanks for hanging out the other day there, pal. We had a great conversation about just optimism for some of the things that are coming. We talked about them a minute ago. Land's coming. Rebellion's coming. Rebellion, December 5th, they're saying those packs will be openable. Those summoners look amazing. There's a lot in my mind, despite the tone of maybe the first bit of this video. I'm not nervous. I'm just paying attention to what would be deal breakers, because I've seen enough stumbles that I'm now watching. That's it. And I see all them sharks pointing to another one. This is going to be a bit of a, this is a bit of a bear video in some sense, but that's okay. Sometimes people feel like I am always optimistic. And I think you saw with the first 15 minutes of this video, plus the video that I did earlier today about, measuring failure. Like, I'm actually cognizant of the fact that Splinterlands, it doesn't have a 100% chance of the success I expect it to have. I don't know what the percentile would be for Splinterlands to be the home run I think it's going to be, but I'm still more confident that it knocks it out of the park than that it falls flat. And let's see card prices here. He goes, all them sharks says, the card prices are definitely scaring me, but now is not a good time to sell much. I did sell just a few extra Rift Watcher cards because those are still holding some value. But even if I did want to sell my cards, I'd have to undercut the already low values. I'm a little worried with that the new Rebellion cards are going to make the older cards seem less valuable. But then I do think land will have some effect on that as well. This is so interesting, and there's so much in there. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I do talk about that a lot, but I definitely think land will help the prices because it's going to reduce supply, and therefore price should be higher on all cards, depending on how well land launches. And I get you being, saying that you think the Rebellion cards might sort of undercut the value of other cards, which is probably true because Rebellion cards are shiny and new. People are going to want those new summoners. Those summoners are actually creating a whole new game mechanic, the legendary ones anyways. And some of the new cards have new abilities, which are going to be fun to play with, and you're going to want them. And that's going to mean people are going to be selling other cards to get them. And that's, I think, what we've already seen, and I've pointed out before on the channel. Card values are falling. I'm at $26,020 on my cards today. And I was at $26,280 5 days ago. So, we're down $200 again. Practically nothing compared to the drops I've seen recently. Like, I'm saying, guys, in May, my deck was worth $53,000. So it's cut in half. It's literally cut in half since May, June, July, August, September, October. 5-6 months. It's cut in half. So, that's a gigantic deal. But let's go back to the comment. But he's right, though. It's like, if you believe in the game long term, it's definitely not a good time to sell. Not much. But even when I would say I don't want to sell much, I might agree that, like he did, to sell some. There can be some cards, like a $9 summoner that you already have many copies of. Well, you could liquidate that, and then that $9 could actually do some interesting things for you because a lot of other cards fell even more. And if you, again, like to carry forward the theme from the previous comments, if you track data, you can make thoughtful decisions, logical decisions. So, for example, if you track data on card analysis, like I have been for, I know you're not looking at it. Here, I'll put it in Discord and I'll show you. So on the screen, you see this is my alpha beta promo reward, like they're all broken down by edition, the different dates that I measured it. And you can see the price declines. Like we're down 11% here in May 18th from May 5th. And over here, we're at 26,280 on October 13th. And that's half of what we were at May 5th. But forget about the global total. You want more data than that to make thoughtful decisions, logical plans. Alpha cards in May were $3,200. They're now down to $1,317. That's almost a 70% loss. Okay, what else? Betas are about 60% loss. Promos are about 45% loss. Reward is down 50% for reward cards. The other day I bought a gold foil Oceanus for $30 or $27 or something. Untamed is $8,900 in May, and it's down to $3,700. Wow. Okay, so that's 60% down. So Dice is about 50% off. Chaos is about 50% off. A little bit like 45% off. And Rift Watchers pretty relatively held its value, lost about 25%. So what does that tell you? I know that was a lot of numbers, but if I just quickly summarize it, Rift Watchers has lost less of its value than other cards. It's down about 25-ish% from May, so 5-6 months ago. Whereas some of the cards are down 70%. And so if you had an appetite to sell, if you had an option to sell some Rift Watcher cards and move into some alphas or to move into some rewards, you might see proportionally more collection power. Not that we need that anymore, but you know what I mean. You want more cards. You're missing out on certain cards that you wish you had. That's why I would do what he said, which is to sell some cards, but not too much. Because truly, it's not necessarily how much USD you get back for the asset you sell. It's also about what does that USD buy you today? Because if all assets fall, it might be the case that selling one of your assets today opens a new door because it held more value, proportionally speaking. That's what I did with my nodes. I sold my nodes for roughly the same US dollar value, but it translated to like a gigantic improvement in my SPS bag. So I like where your head's at, all them sharks. You know, I like, you know, it is scary. It is scary to see that, you know, those numbers fall so much. But I mean, crypto is so volatile. Why? Because there is nobody here. Like, relatively speaking, there is nobody here. And even with Bitcoin, man, it's not nearly as ubiquitous as it will be one day. At least that's my view. You might say you don't have the long vision for it. You think the governments will stop it or something. But for me, I'm convinced Bitcoin's going to be here. Ethereum's going to be here. Games that are blockchain based that are being rewarding you for your time and attention are going to be here. I think Splinterlands is going to be here. If I'm right, man, the multipliers that happen between now and 20 years from now are gigantic. Because you go from a place where no one is using these things to everyone using these things is a radical price differential, because there's a massively increased demand. Even if the supply is growing or the same, it's like the demand can go to the moon, and that's where prices can go crazy. So let's finish your thought. I don't have any money on the sidelines either, so I'm not as excited about the low prices as it could be. I would love to get more of the beta era cards. Yeah, the thing is, even if I did have money on the sidelines, I'd probably be tempted to use them for Bellion, and there's no crazy discount at the moment with the EC approaching peg. This is, dude, my head is almost exactly where yours is at. Like I bought 100 Rebellion packs today. That's probably all I'm doing, at least during pre-sale. But I hope I can get 1,000 or even 2,000 before Rebellion is done. You know, I'm talking 8-9 months out from now, because I absolutely am convinced that those cards are going to be game changers. I'm so convinced, and I just frankly don't have the assets to make it happen right now. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. A little bit of a bearish video, but I hope you see in the way I'm looking at it, it's not that I'm bearish. It's that I'm thoughtful about what could go wrong, because we have taken a lot of L's recently. There's a lot of delays that are annoying. There's a lot of sort of questions around, you know, are they actually going to do what they've said they've done? At this point, those questions are beginning to mount. And I believe in them. I believe in Matt. I believe in this team. But you would be not paying attention if you didn't say that the questions are starting to mount and add up. And so all I'm saying is, let's get a few W's on the board. Let's get a few, right? Let's see Rebellion, this pre-sale sell out. That'd be huge. I mean, half of it's done in the first 8 hours. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a sellout here within 30 days. That'd be huge. If we sell 3 million Rebellion packs, we are in a great spot because that creates a ton of runway, surprisingly. And you know what it also does? Funds our DAO in a big way. Already today, the DAO proposal where we paid $250,000 to commission Rebellion and get it going, we paid that to Splinterlands, the company, that was a proposal. And now the product of that is that half of the sales from Rebellion are ending up in the DAO. This is nuts. We today made that money back. Today, in the first 8 hours. So, I mean, this is a success. We just need this to keep going. If this now fizzles out, that's concerning, man. We need 1.5 to 3 million packs sold, and I'm happy. We need land out before end of November, and I'm happy. We need 2.0 before end of next year, and I'm happy. But I'd love it in 6 months. I think that's really important because we're talking about Bitcoin halving in the middle of the year. I want to see Peg, and I want to see Flywheel, and I think Land 2.0 is going to be really important for that. So anyways, I'm going on and on now, but I am confident. I just want to be cognizant of the concerns, and I think we should all be data oriented when we make decisions about any investment, and Splinterlands is an investment. Okay, thanks guys. Have an amazing day. God bless.